Hold up.
Can you give us a little bit of a synopsis about your business? We've got actually a couple people who are current or former realtors as well, which is kind of cool. But they're mostly positioning into social media. So if you could just give us a little bit of a summary of your business, that would be awesome.
Yes, so I'm a realtor. I work kind of in the Minneapolis area, mostly in the north suburbs. I've been in the business. This is my second year, so still getting things kind of established. So right now I'm doing about 16 transactions a year is what I'm going to end up with this year, which is awesome. But it's, obviously a lot of work to get the business off the ground. So that's fun. That's about double the national average for all agents total, which is really cool. But it's still, kind of a solo gig getting things going. So that's that. I mean, what do you want me to talk about? Do you want to talk about Facebook ads or that side of things?
Yeah, if you want to share with us what you've done so far to secure business, that would be helpful. Kind of what has and hasn't worked. That would be awesome. And then we can dive into what are great moving forward.
Sure. So with real estate, it's very much heavily a referral-based business. I'm going to try this. Maybe it will be not quite so awkward. There we go. It's primarily referral-based business. So by all means, the cheapest, easiest way to get business is help one client do a great job. Then they tell their friends and family about about you, about your business. So that's the main source of business that I've had. As far as, just real estate in general, we try and stick, at least half of our time and money on, the people that we already know that already like us, that'll use us again. So that, it's just a lot cheaper and easier. As far as generating new business from the Facebook side, I've kind of been all over the board, tried lots of different things. I wouldn't say I have any one thing that's really successful yet. But lots of little things that have been good. So besides just your, average consistent posts on Facebook, as far as paid things go, I've done, a couple $1,000 worth of ads in the last year and a half. Mm-hmm. So I have a ClickFunnels account. I've been integrating that partially to make my website not so lame that Keller Williams provides us, which is just really generic and basic. So I've been using it some to integrate with that, and then I've also been using it for landing pages. So in my world, you can either go after buyers or sellers or investors technically. The most profitable and the easiest generally is sellers, or not easiest, I should say, but the most profitable is going to be sellers because they're selling and they're usually buying, so you can kind of make like double commission off of that. Yeah. Versus going after buyer leads. So everything has been seller focused. So I've done, like freemiums, opt-ins for sellers guides. I've done free home valuations is what I focus on most of the time. Typically it's just a single landing page that just has one blank and it says, find out what your home's worth. They type in their address. I get that kickback immediately. And then on the second page, it says, something usually like you can sign in with Facebook or give me your name and email and I'll send it to you, that kind of thing, to get additional information from them. So that works well. I've just closed a couple of clients off of that, which was like $18,000 in commission. So that's obviously a huge payday off of, a $20 ad or whatever. So that is awesome. However, across the whole board, it's not been a great ROI. So I don't know how deep you want me to go into it, but basically, just generating the lead is like a very small portion of what it costs me to convert that lead. So, so you go to my website you click it, you put in your address, and then you'll get put on a drip campaign that follows you for a year that I've created with tons of videos and things that I've done on a video email standpoint. Yeah. So then there's that's free. And then you'll also immediately get a full CMA packet from me. It's like a full size, big envelope, color, branded, looks super fancy. It'll have, about 20 pages of home value information on your property. It'll have information about me. It looks very personal. It looks like I spent a bunch of time on it. So I'll send that out. That cost me about $4 with postage. And then in real estate, I don't know how it's different for the rest of you guys, but with real estate, there's typically about a 1-year nurture time until you convert the lead on average.
Wow.
So, some of them I might convert immediately, which is extremely rare. Or, this one that I just converted maybe 2 or 3 months, I think, after they opted in, they got the initial packet. And then I also basically send a smaller version of that same packet to every homeowner in my database.
Yes.
Whether they just bought a house with me last week or whether, they're retiring in 5 years and they're looking to downsize.
Wow.
Anybody who's a homeowner in my database, if I have your address, you get a quarterly home value report from me, just so you can watch basically like you got your 401k. Well, you don't want to know what it's worth only when you're cashing out, right? You want to follow the value over time.
Yes.
So that's kind of the pitch, to provide them a lot of value. And so then after somebody opts in, they're on the email campaign, they get an initial CMA packet. And then 4 times a year, they get a nice branded packet of information from me.
Wow.
And then they also get about 9 or 10 postcards in the mail that are super personal, really cheesy. It's always something with the family, kids in Halloween costumes. For Labor Day, I did one that was like the boys remodeling my bathroom with me. so trying to like make it super personable, not be just, staunch professional, forgettable. So anyway, I say that to say it takes about a year to nurture the clients if they're going to convert. Statistically, I'll convert about 2% of them. So for every 100 leads I generate, I'm only going to convert 2 of them over a year's span.
Yeah.
And then that 1-year nurture is going to cost me about $18.
That's not bad.
14. Yeah, I'm sorry, $18. No, so it's not. So then you got to factor in, well, if it costs me $20 to get the client, which is a really bad number, but let's say it costs me $20, then another 18, let's say. So then I'm in with that individual client for $38, right? So that doesn't sound too bad at all. But you also have to remember the other 98 clients that I'm also spending $38 on that I'm not getting any return whatsoever on. So, if, let's say $20 for a lead, which is a really bad number, but if I'm, whatever that number is, say I'm spending I'm spending $38 per lead for 100 of them. That means I'm spending $3,800
yes.
to only get 2 closings. So, in that sense, the number, the price that I spend to get the lead has to be really low, just because of the quantity of leads that we have to get and the length of time that I have to nurture them for.
Oh yeah.
Plus all the man hours of sending out that 100 people, their value packet every 4 times a year. So in that sense, we have to have really high ROI, especially up front, but even on the entire picture, just because that still doesn't factor in the time or money spent actually selling the home or helping the person buy. So it's not even to close the lead, right? Depends on how you look at your ROI. So typically, again, it really depends what all you include in the cost of the lead, but generally like 7 to 8x is kind of a minimum.
Okay.
If I'm not getting at least 6 or 7, something's wrong, and we need to go from there.
Yep. On the ad spend, not just the ad spend on that one lead, correct?
I consider it ad spend plus a 1-year nurture.
Yep. Okay.
Is how I factor in my ROI.
Yep.
Then kind of for my generic numbers, it's always a pretty safe bet that I'm going to have about $12,500 in commission brought in.
Yes. Okay.
Is per lead, right? So you get me 100 leads, I factor in that's probably about $25,000 in commission.
Okay.
So I need the cost to nurture those 100 leads for that year to be less than 1/8 of $25,000.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense. And that's a
see where I'm getting at?
Yep, I get it. That's a great ROI for the real world. One of the things that I find is like online marketers, we have these crazy expectations for ROI. Like it's insane. In the real world, if people get a 2 to 3x ROI, they're pretty happy. And so you're in this really great, like your goal is a really great in between, somewhere between a crazy online marketer and like the real world ROI. So, okay. So one of the thoughts that I have, so let's say you have 100 leads, right? 100. Okay. And you would guess that with 100 leads, because you kept mentioning, let's say you close a lead, there are 98 or 90 whatever more that you're nurturing that don't close. So it's about a 1 to 2% conversion rate. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, they say about 2% on average.
Okay, about a 1 to 2% conversion rate, and that's pretty typical with most industries. There are obvious ways to increase it. So several things that you want to happen. Number one, your cost per lead is too high, right?
Yep.
Okay. We can't decrease the cost of your nurturing, right? The $18.
No, not really.
Okay. So the cost per lead is too high, so you want to get that down significantly. And you potentially, because if you
I can't hear you. Hold on.
Okay.
So, of course, we have to use my phone because I can't use my normal computer or iPad. But
that's fun. There we go.
Then my phone's going to die, so I can't use my headphones anymore. So.
I know. I just got one of those little, the jacks that lets you plug in two things. So you can plug in a charger and headphones. And I'm like, this is ridiculous that we have to do that. But, okay.
And then I spent $1,000 Mac and my new headphones don't plug into them because they don't have the stupid lightning port.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
So, number one, the biggest issue that you have is that your cost per lead is too high. That's one of the big things. And just so everyone who is watching this and listening, one of the biggest things that all of this comes down to, so Joe knows his numbers. And with numbers, when you know all of your numbers, you start to realize the difference that making small tweaks can make. So even if Joe were to, let's say right now he's converting at 1% and he's shooting for 2% out of those 100 leads, if you were to go from 1 to 2% or 2 to 3%, it makes a massive difference, obviously, in the ROI. So that's a part of it as well. So increasing the conversions, and part of that is just going to happen through testing and tweaking and, adding new steps and definitely seeing how that works. So one of the thoughts that I have, so you're getting $20 leads right now in our, Joe's local to me. So he's in Minnesota. You're getting $20 leads right now. And
I currently average about $12.
$12. Okay. So then plus the 18, you're getting $30 total per lead with including the nurture.
Yes.
Okay. So $12 isn't bad, but even if you could cut that by a couple bucks, that makes the difference over the course of scaling. What is your landing page converting at right now? Do you know just off the top of your head?
I didn't bring the spreadsheet home with me. Last I looked, it was averaging 6%.
Okay.
No, sorry, 3% maybe.
Okay.
So, is that good or bad?
It's rough, but you know what it might actually have to do with? It could actually have to do with what the base is that you're using to attract people. So if you were just trying to get buyers, I think it would be tougher, but the fact that you're trying to get sellers, so sellers, if you have 1 year to nurture them, one of the things that they're starting to think about is before they sell, it's not just what is my home worth, it's how can I increase my home value. Obviously we don't purchase, but a thought that I have is people who want to sell their home are how can I increase, I would love to know 10 tips for, under $1,000 to increase the value of my home, before you sell it. So one of the things I would definitely do is brainstorm different lead magnets. Because I know you mentioned too that your lead magnet is a little bit, it can be time intensive, right? So your lead magnet is that value, right? It is the value of their home.
The home valuation, yeah.
Yeah, and you said sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and then you have to manually pop it in, right?
Yeah. So I've tried, I haven't done it really well, I'll admit that. I have tried a PDF of a seller's guide type of thing, explaining the process, helping them understand it. So something that's interesting too with my demographic, a lot of it is older people.
Yeah.
My neighborhood's got tons of older people. They've got nice houses and they're looking to downsize.
Yes.
So I've done that. I have actually done different videos, which I have a whole library of, but one of them is on how to increase your ROI the easiest.
Yeah.
Remodeling. So I guess, do you think do a landing page that you have to opt in with your email to get?
Yes.
The video? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, honestly, not that they have to get the video. So here is one of the things that I would definitely do. So this decreases the cost. At least this has worked for me across almost every single client. So let's say I'm running ads first and foremost, and I'm trying to get, the lead or the opt-in or whatever it is. The second that I first market with a video. So first use that video and market it to them. And the reality is most people will hit play. They watch for a couple seconds, they get bored, they forget, they're checking out at the grocery store, so then they stop. Most people
You're
don't.
saying do a video ad or take them to a site with video? Okay.
Yeah, do a video ad because you can get really low cost per views, and then they've seen your face, they've seen your name once, and that alone is enough to decrease the cost per opt-in and lead significantly. So just so you know, I'm going to take notes of like all of the different suggestions that I and my students come up with, and then we'll give them to you, and I'll like put it together in a nice a nice strategy guide. So
cool.
Yeah, so running a video where you're talking about how to increase the ROI when you sell your home, that would perform really well, especially if you called people out by city and by state so that they know that you're local to Minnesota. Because that's one of the biggest things when I've seen ads from realtors, it's sometimes from like nationwide realtors. And I'm like, well, this person doesn't know, Oh, and just so you guys know, you can feel free to share your tips anytime you want. I know that some of you guys have worked with realtors, some of you guys have worked in real estate. And so David wants to, but let me finish this one thing with the 3-tier. And then you guys can absolutely jump on it. And Dominic can jump in, David can jump in. David was like super excited about this. I know Denise has worked in real estate, but like your cost per lead is already fairly decent compared to some of the results that we see from people. One of the biggest issues I see is people who say like, I'm getting leads between 20 and 60 bucks a lead. That happens a lot. Or people who say like, it doesn't convert at all. That's pretty common. So the fact that you're already converting, that means we have room to improve. That's a very good sign. So your market is open to opting in, and your market is open to learning and being educated. So yeah, definitely run video view ads first. So video view objective, make sure that the copy says Minnesota. I'm going to see if I can't show you something. I might be able to drop it in the chat, but I'm going to show you something that I did that decreases my cost per video view. And it's kind of weird. Like when Russell says like this one crazy trick that I did, it really, sometimes those things are amazing. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to pull up one of the things that I did decreased for myself and for my clients. It decreased our cost per video view significantly, as much as, down to a fifth to a tenth of the cost. So cool. Big difference. Let me see. I think I can just share my screen with you guys. Yeah. Okay. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So let's take a peek real fast. If you take a look at this, I wouldn't necessarily recommend all of this like emoji stuff unless you put like cute homes or trees or whatever, but you could talk about like the 10 ways to increase the ROI or the return on selling your home, or to increase your selling price, your asking price. That would be huge. But then see these bars, it's really ugly, right? But these bars with the emojis and the text, this decreased the cost per view, which is why I've been able to pay to get, this many people reach, this many views. Some people are watching it over and over because the cost per view is like 0.002, 0.003 cents per video view. And so that made a huge difference. And I use for that InShot, which I'll drop into the chat for everybody. So it's InShot, huge. Yeah, so do that, and then do the video view objective, and then without even tweaking the lead magnet, or even without tweaking any other part of the strategy, that's gonna decrease your cost per lead. I feel pretty darn certain about that.
Cool.
So that's one of my biggest things, but I'd also love to hear what other people have and the thoughts that they have. So feel free to jump on in, guys.
I'm gonna try and switch my video really quick, and I might lose you.
Okay. Whoa, that's trippy.
Whoa.
We have
two twice. I don't know how I'd not have my one Joe.
Hold on. Let me make you. There we go.
Victory.
Yay. All right.
So I don't have to look at you on the tiny little screen.
David, go.
Hey, well, I shared this in the Click group earlier today, but
Yes.
before I had at one time a client that was a real estate brokerage. I wasn't dealing with the agent so much, but we were doing this thing with the funnel trying to get leads, and the ads were working great. We we're getting clicks all over the place. The problem was they weren't converting, and I believe that the reason it wasn't converting was because the form that they have to fill out was too complicated.
Yep.
It asked for things like address, what's the name of your agent that you're working with, or, just all these different things that really you're trying to get a PDF to them. All they needed to do is give you their email address. Mm-hmm. So that's a big barrier for conversion rates.
Sure.
How much do
you think I have a good conversion? You think I'm getting my cost per leads pretty good?
I would say so. Hold on. David, do you think it's good for a big ask?
A big ask?
Yeah.
What I said?
Like $12 per lead for a big ask?
I think that's a lot. Well, my strategy with my client was that we would first get their email address, like just get them in the door.
Yep.
And then if you want to do a cost analysis of their house, then you would email market that. You would email that to them. So then your cost per home analysis cost or whatever lead, that would be the next step in the sales funnel. First, we're just trying to get them in the most basic lead as possible. Let's just get their email address and then market the rest of the stuff to them afterwards.
And how much do you know how much it was cost per lead for emails?
Well, that was a problem that we were having, is they weren't wanting to change their the form.
Mm-hmm.
I have other clients, not real estate, that are doing the same thing, and I'm getting email addresses for 30 cents.
Yeah.
That's not normal, but
no.
I would say you can get email addresses for like a couple dollars.
$2. Yeah, I wouldn't pay more than $5 for an email address, but now they're in your system. And just because they haven't filled out the home analysis, home value analysis, doesn't mean they're not a good lead. It just means that maybe they're like me, where the more time I have to spend on a form, I'm like, ugh. I mean, you know this, like I don't want to be in email. I don't want to be doing anything, but I might check your email occasionally as it comes in and then be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I should give them a call. David, I 100% agree.
So I like emails, and I have I would say a pretty good drip campaign that, is a lot of value. But it just seems like the value of an email is so low that, to me, even if I could get a $5 email or a $10 address, I'd take the address all day long, especially knowing my clientele. Like I'll run an ad. I always do them now 40 years and older, like 40 up. Yeah. And of those, like at least 75% of them are still like 65 and older, which is pretty crazy.
Interesting.
So then I think with that demographic, catching them on email, is a waste of time, versus if I can get their address and I can put something in their hand that, is very sharp, very professional, numerous times a year.
Yep.
But it still seems to me like, even $20 seems crazy expensive to me.
Hey, quick question.
Yeah.
For when you get their address and you're marketing, you're mailing to them, right? Do you have your numbers on how often those pieces of mail are opened or read or consumed of some sort?
Of the postal mail? No.
Yeah.
No, I mean, how do I know that?
Well, I know it costs like so many dollars per thing that you send out, and then how many of those are actually opened and looked at. Whereas an email, it doesn't cost anything to get it opened. I mean, you have your open rates, but on top of that, you can take those same emails and do a branding campaign or different other things on the social media, specifically target to only those people that have already subscribed to your email list.
Yep.
And you can guarantee that those are open for like cents, because they're just going to be viewed for cents.
With my emails, though, it was like a 2% or 4% open rate.
Oh, that's abysmal.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know if it's because it's the demographic, but it's like, even if I can get their email, they're not looking at it anyways, versus from what I've heard, high value things in the mail is going to be better for older demographics than.
Sometimes I will say like older demographics versus like me, Joe, David, Dominic, all of us who are like millennials, I think the toughest, thing is that we subscribe for so much stuff that our inboxes are packed versus the older generations are more careful where they give out their email. So they actually read every email. I mean, how many of us just delete emails or have an assistant in our inbox? We never check our emails, or like we only check ones from people we know. I think that's most of us.
Yeah.
But one other thing, and this is great for anybody who's working with any client where you're doing email marketing, the first question to ask if the email open rates are low is, are you sending an HTML based email? Is there design? Is it fancy? Is there like a design in it? Are there videos? Are there photos? Is it HTML, or is it just plain text? One of my clients, he had like a 9% open rate, and that was pretty bad, but he also had a huge and very untargeted list. He had a 9% open rate, and we literally more than doubled it the next week by switching from HTML straight to plain text. So that's a great question to always ask your clients, something to look at. Do you know off the top of your head if it was HTML or plain text?
Mine, it's all text, but then there's just like one video, image or whatever on it that you can just click that, and it takes you to, I think it takes you to my website, to the page that has that video.
Interesting.
But it's all just, it's, maybe 2 sentences. Hey, it's Joe. I know you're thinking about selling your home, so I thought you might like this video on, how the price of a home is determined. Hope you have a great day. And then just click on the button. So very short form, very basic.
Yep. Let me see real fast. Megan says 60-year-olds now read more emails on desktops. In the past 2 years, they're more connected. Interesting. Okay. Dominic's been waiting. He's like, I've got something.
I'm actually I'm going through a bunch of influences from all my clients right now, so that's why I was listening. But one other thing, I have one real estate client, and I know from the previous 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, you guys saw that I had an issue with another real estate client. I don't work with that one. I have my dream client, and she actually works in real estate. But what I found to be working on my end, we didn't just go straight out for leads, because one of the things that I've noticed, I don't like engaging with pages. I don't like engaging with pages, and what I've noticed from other people, and looking at the human behavior online, they don't like engaging with pages that have less than 500 likes on their page, because it makes them look irrelevant. And the lack of engagement on your postings and on your social media page, it plays a factor, because I think this real estate client, she was hoping to get leads, and what really helped is that she's trying to get on TV. So the approach that I've went was branding, and it's helped tremendously, because what we've been able to do almost every week or every other week or every 3 weeks is doing Mythbusters, and doing those videos. I just got 2 leads last week, and my client told me, just we got a lead and stuff like that. She said she's going to buy in January, but we're going to actually make it. So she said she's going to buy in January. They already got their contact information. So we're going to have an approach on the videos to do more. We're going to do more videos on why, and set an urgency of not buying in January. You want to buy right now in October and November, because that's supposedly the best time to buy, or that's what we're going to say. That's what we're saying. And what I found to be working is always boosting the posts. I tried the ads manager for my real estate client, and it sucked for the first time for me. And I just found boosting was so much easier, so much better. Yeah, it was so much easier, so much better. What I go with is I always target the sphere of influence. That means anybody that knows, likes, and trusts you already. If you have those people already and they know, like, and trust you, they're going to engage with your page. You're going to start off with 6-7 likes after you boost it for $5-7 for one day. And then you go to, and after you boost it to your sphere of influence, then you go after a cold audience. But my strategy is I don't always do that, because I want to see how many likes do I want to see how many likes this post has, or how many comments this has, because everybody wants to be part of the popular post. They want to look what's so engaging about this post. So that's what I've been seeing, and that's what I know it's been working on my end for real estate. It's really all about branding, and more branding. The ROI, I mean, and obviously the real estate client, they when we bring in the lead, or when I bring in the lead for them, they take care of the rest. I mean, the rest is on them. I don't close or anything like that.
Right.
Awesome.
So that's what so videos boosting is important. And what Rachel said is about with InShots, always have those. I mean, I haven't been doing them, but I'm going to, as of next week when we get back to the Mythbusters, and subtitles. They are very important. They're a pain in the ass, I know, but I'm glad I have someone else doing that for me, because they're just so time consuming.
Yeah.
And yeah, people and statistics show that 80% of people like listening. They like watching videos without sound.
Yep.
And so, and if it's, and that's something that you can use for not just for real estate, but for all clients. It's pretty much like the test. Like if the subtitles is engaging at first, then they'll probably say, okay, I'm gonna listen to this. But if it's not, they're gonna scroll.
Awesome.
But that's
Cool.
Oh, Dominic's frozen. Dominic, you're frozen. But at least you're smiling.
About boosting, I've actually heard the opposite pretty passionately.
Yep.
I've heard people just swear never boost anything, that it's a waste of money.
So I think I have a pretty, I know Whitney just sent me a message. Your video isn't on. My video isn't working all of a sudden today, which drives me nuts. Okay, so I have a super balanced view on boosting. So some people are like, don't ever do it. Like, don't ever boost. It's terrible. And then some people are like, boosting is the way to go. Like, it works better than Ads Manager. I only boost in certain situations. One is when I'm in a hurry. So let's say I upload something and I want to get immediate reactions, and like I want to get some engagement from my page followers. I'll just boost it for like $5 to my page followers, like while I'm on the road. So I don't drive anywhere, so don't worry. It's not like I'm driving, but I'll like quick hit boost, but obviously I don't have my computer available. So that's like literally the only time I ever boost anything is if I'm like, okay, I'm in a hurry, got to get something going. I want some engagement before I send ads to it. The ads won't kick in for a day or, for a couple hours. So I'm a fan of boosting just to get that initial like jump start. But then I go in and I set up the ads on the back end. And then here's like the major difference that I've put into it. So when you do a video views objective, you're not going to get very many comments.
True.
When you do an engagement objective or boosting, so most people don't know this, boosting automatically goes to the engagement. So boosting adds engagement, and that's why people are like, I get more likes and comments from boosting. Same exact thing as an engagement ad in the back end. But yeah, so you could even do both. You could do like one for video views and one for engagement, or just like boost it to your page followers for engagement first for $5 or $10 and then switch to video views objective. But Dominic's points, I love them. And that branding strategy falls perfectly in line with the 3-tier Facebook ad strategy, but you'll start out with the video and use it as branding with the video views. Yep. Yeah.
If you, and on top of that, I did share a quick video. I'm going to leave this office because I got kicked off the internet, by the way. But that video I shared with you guys last week, that Ripple video, those are really effective because it shows your personal side. Because if you're trying to invite new people into your real estate business, you want to show that good side of you as well. You want to show the good side, and you want to show, hey, the real estate side. So yeah, that's pretty much the approach with real estate.
Thanks, Dominic.
No problem.
So that's definitely what I would do. You can decide, like, do I want to create a video series? Do you want to create something that's like your thing? There's a reason why I know that like all realtors get super annoyed by like Fixer Upper, Property Brothers. I know that they're kind of like the of the space. At least that's what I hear. Whitney.
Talk to me about Zillow. That's the big hot button. That
Yes. Oh my gosh. But they've
Talking
done
about estimates.
but they've done a great job of branding themselves, making themselves likable to the masses, not to realtors, just to the masses.
People like them. We
Yes.
just hate them.
Yes, I know.
My life
So
difficult.
giving yourself that likable or snarky or whatever it is persona, or there might be something that you always do in your videos, like Dominic said with the branding. But starting out with those videos, I would literally set that up today. And then there's obviously, so 3% conversion on the page, and you're not willing to switch to emails. You want addresses specifically. So there are two different tests I would immediately employ. So number one, I would get a split test on the landing page. You can even, if you want, we could have some of the people in the click look at it. You don't have to share it on this video, but we could have some of the people in the social click take a peek and give a couple suggestions. Because if you could do a split test in ClickFunnels and see if you could even just get that up by 1% or 2%.
I've split tested landing pages like crazy. ClickFunnels actually did the worst of any of them.
Oh, what are you using?
I can show you them, can't I?
Yeah, but I mean, what's the software? You don't have to, but what is the software?
What do you mean?
Are you using ClickFunnels?
So there's two different ways I can do it. I can do it just with ClickFunnels.
Yep.
And I've tried just what did I do? Just a landing page for your address, like the home valuation one that has nothing else on it. I've done one that's like a really long form. You can scroll down for a mile with different videos, different text, different opt-in thing, call to actions all throughout it.
Yep.
I've also done one that was just a email one.
Yep.
That was like a download my seller's guide thing.
Yep.
Got nothing. So then I did those just from ClickFunnels. I did the same thing integrated into my website, thinking maybe because then people would have more options. Or more kind of a social proof from that side. And then through our work, they provide us with a service called Listings to Leads. Basically, they're kind of preset landing pages that it's actually tied to Zillow of all things, but then they'll get an actual automatic valuation from the system that I can follow up with. And that one performed by far the best out of anything else I did.
That was where you saw the 3%?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Okay. So
I haven't tracked my actual opt-in too much, so it might be a loose number, but that's the average.
Okay.
From terrible ones. So my better ones, could do better for sure. That's the average of all of them.
Okay. So would you say that that's where you're seeing the least results in improving the landing pages? Because one thing that would be probably helpful is to have a bunch of marketers looking at a page. Because sometimes we have weird and crazy suggestions that work really well.
Let me pull one up and I'll share it with you.
Yep.
I don't know how to share my screen though. You have to tell me this.
Let's see.
You figure that out and I'll find it real quick.
Okay.
You want me to share the link or do you want me to put it on my screen?
I don't know how to have you screen share, so I'm going to have you just share the link. And then we might run out of time for like optimizing a landing page because that's a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Oh, Whitney says give him permission. Okay. Make co-host.
Screen share. Wait, I have a button.
There we go.
Can you see my screen?
Nope.
No.
It should say share screen at the bottom.
Optimize for full screen. I don't know. Sure. Click this.
There we go. Perfect.
Now what do you see? Do you see my screen?
Nope.
Oh. Share your computer audio. Please install the audio Zoom device. What the heck does that mean?
I have no idea.
Oh, but I don't need computer sound. Hold on. Maybe.
There we go. Okay. Let's take a peek. Interesting.
Sorry, sorry. So this is, I've tested about 4 or 5 different versions. This one is the best.
Okay.
Performed for me. So it kind of looks like there's stuff, but there's basically nothing but the opt-in thing.
Yep.
And I've tried like, you know, fancy pictures, like houses, neighborhoods, that kind of stuff in the background. For whatever reason, this one was the best. So if I go, and I think, let's see if this actually does it for me. So this one connects to Facebook.
Real fast, anyone who is watching this who is a part of Elite, do you guys think that removing, like duplicating that exact landing page without the links at the bottom, do you think that would increase the conversions? Just curious, I want to see what other people think. I'm going to exit full screen just so I can see the chat. Did someone say yes? I thought I heard yes.
Oh, funny. So it never likes to find my address. But anyway, so normally when you hit the button, you don't have to put in your phone or whatever else, but then this is normally a bunch of stats and information about your house with evaluation and yada, yada, yada.
Yep. I'd love to see what you guys think. Let me know in the chat. Do you think that removing the links at the bottom of the page would increase the conversion rates on that page? And if you don't know, that's totally fine. If you're like, I have no idea what any of that means yet, that's perfect. Just you're along for the ride and it's going to be fun. But let me see real fast. Oh, I didn't see the answers. Okay, so we've got yes, yes, no idea. I don't really know. That's okay. So I already can see, and I think, here, you can go ahead and stop the screen share. Whitney's just here for the real estate. So scroll on down to the bottom of the page, or, well, actually, you're fine. So at the bottom of the page, it has links to different things. And one of the things that is the most beneficial with a landing page is that people don't scroll up or down and click on any other menu. So I would literally take that exact landing page, almost like as exact as you can, and create a variant on it where there are no other links, because the goal with the landing page is that it's so that people don't get that shiny object syndrome. Because I know that the second I see links at the bottom or top of a page, I'm like, I want to see the FAQs, I want to see the pictures, I want to see, and you start to all of a sudden search for things. So worth trying, but I also think that what we shared with the multiple tier marketing plan would work significantly better.
Cool.
Another question for you. There are some really cool categories within Facebook that some people do or don't know. How are you targeting people on Facebook?
What do you mean?
Sorry, with the ads.
With my objective, or with my audience?
Yeah,
okay.
Like with interests.
So I've done it a few different ways. Most recently, I had a listing video that I did that just went bananas, and got like 10,000 views on it or something crazy.
Yep.
So I was primarily retargeting those people that had watched. I think I did 75% or more that had watched that video was getting retargeted for other stuff.
Yep.
And then I did with that one, I did a video, I can't remember. I think I did a traffic campaign with the video instead of an image. So then they were seeing the same video again, but instead it said, instead of like just listed, it said sold in 3 days, figure out what your home's worth, that kind of a thing. So they were retargeted off of that. So I've done a lot of different split testing with my audience too. And I don't know if I'm just doing it wrong, but it honestly seems like the less I narrow down my audience, the better results I'm getting. So if I just do like a 25-mile radius off of Coon Rapids, which is my city, I am now doing 40 and older for age, and I'm doing no realtors, no mortgage people. I'm excluding job titles based off that.
Yep.
And if I just leave it wide open like that, that actually gets me the best results. I have also done lookalikes based off of past campaigns or whatever.
Okay.
Or I think I did like off that video too.
That one's kind of tough just based on, since it's a situational event, if that makes sense. Like that's tough because Facebook's looking at not necessarily the things that are event based. It can be just a little bit tough. But have you tested using people who are most likely to move?
Yeah, it was terrible.
That didn't work well for you?
I did it like twice, and the results, like I got nothing for, $50 or whatever I spent. So I haven't tried it since.
Okay. What about people with specific home values?
I haven't recently by any means.
Okay. That could be worth testing.
Even with, but then I'd have to know kind of like what price point is going to perform better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like the vast majority, even if within, I guess not if I'm going 25 miles, but within my main hub, they're pretty much all between, 175 and 250.
Yep.
So.
That could be worth
But
testing.
it's an idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there are a couple action steps that are, because you have something that's converting. Now it's a matter of just finding something that improves things by 1% or by $1 or by $5. So here are literally the exact steps I would do. So number one, I would start creating a weekly video that you put out there. It could be something you already have because you already have a lot of content, and I know that. So you could repurpose that content by sharing it on the Facebook page. And then, and then running video view objective ads. You can test out boosting it first to your warm audiences, see how that goes, and then switch to the video view objectives, and then remarket to those audiences. You're going to want to let them grow, like pretty significantly. You want to let as many video views as possible grow so that Facebook can then determine who is most likely to opt in. See you later, Christine. Question then also, so when you are doing the objectives for your lead magnet, which is the home value campaign, Denise had an interesting opinion on this too, because she's worked in real estate for years. She said, I heard you're reading it too, so that offering the home value is overdone. Possibly think about something else you can give them a value. That'd be worth testing. Definitely.
I thought that too, because I kind of felt like I can get that anywhere, especially with estimates.
Yep.
But that still performed better than anything. So
would be worth it. I mean,
I guess I know how to do a landing page that says, here, click this button and give me your address. You know what I mean? So it could just be like, that's my results because I don't know how to do anything else very well.
Yeah.
Well, and like I have really good videos, but I don't really know how to convert that into a lead. Like I know how to do a video campaign and I know how to, boost video ads.
Yes.
But I don't know how to actually get anything back from them that is beneficial to me,
For
so
video
ads? The video thing, how do I get someone to actually opt in?
So for the video view, what I usually do is I put a bit.ly link in the copy where I offer the lead magnet, but I don't talk about it until the very end. So at the very end, I'll be like, okay, and then if you wanted to get this, or here's what I've got as an offer for you. Once you deliver value, in the video, you talk about something that they want to learn. And then you say, okay, if you want to grab my awesome blah, 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 just grab the link. It's in the copy above. Feel free to do it. So you're doing video view objectives, and sometimes you can get a great cost per lead just from that. Mm-hmm. So you do the in the copy, but then because they most likely have now seen your face and seen your name, you do the custom audience with all of the views on that video and on all videos, and then start focusing on using a warm market to send to your lead magnets.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that is going to be huge. And honestly, if you don't believe me that it doesn't make a difference, or that it does make such a big difference, literally run one campaign with cold and one campaign with warm. Yeah. And you will be like, oh my gosh, the difference is massive. When I run the exact same purchase campaign to audiences, I'll pay anywhere from $25 to $33 per purchase on a cold audience, and then I will pay anywhere from 11 to 15, occasionally 20 for a warm audience. Just people who have seen even a couple seconds of my video,
sure.
Which doesn't make that big of a difference, right? But then it does. So kind of interesting. But those are the things I would test first. I would test out different lead magnets. Don't give up on them, First test, see if you can get better results with the warm market. If you can get better results with the warm market, then split test different offers.
Sure.
I would definitely do that. I love Dominic's suggestions as well. of branding. I know David has great suggestions, and I feel like every single marketer watching this is like, just get the email, like nurture from the email. And because we all know like how much remarketing you can do with ads from there. But I know that realtors don't love to just grab the email. And it sounds like it's a change that most realtors are very resistant to. So that's okay. And we'll just acknowledge that that's where you don't want to go. And then, yeah.
It's so funny though, because it's like, if no one opens the emails, then what's the point? Like, am I missing something? Because I feel like,
yeah,
I'm really resistant to change, but if, I don't know.
totally.
I got way more response from my like snail mail packet of junk in the mail than.
Honestly, like I think it could work really well because one of the things that we do is we'll set up remarketing campaigns to email lists that echo what our emails have to do with. So that's one of the things that we love to do. Like we set up Facebook ads that basically have a similar message to what our email nurturing says. So, and Denise says, even seeing your name in the subject box will remind them of you. So it's that extra touch point. You could definitely test it out, but if it's something you're like, nope, not yet, I would be like, you should definitely test this once you get the cost per lead down and get the conversion rate up. So
the other thing that's interesting, I was doing realtor.com.
Yep.
I did it for about a year through maybe July this year.
Yes.
So that effectively that is just building the email list, which is cool, but the number of conversions out of it was just dismal. So,
really?
I don't know. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but it just seems like I don't know. It didn't work for me.
Totally fair.
That's awesome.
So
Cool.
those are the first steps I would take though.
I like it.
Lukey Lou. Megan says realtor.com is Lukey Lou. Whatever that means. I think it's a Hawaiian phrase, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It is for sure, and it's definitely the long-term game.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
and then even just with that home value thing, I would seriously test also a landing page where none of the links are at the bottom, none of the links are at the top. It's a page where you can't scroll down at all. That's it. It's just opt-in. That's it. There's nothing that distracts them. Because I will admit, when I'm about to opt into something, my curiosity gets the best of me, and I click links beneath the opt-in, and then I lose the opt-in, and then I never sign. Never make it happen. And that happens for a lot of our markets, especially when they're like thinking about selling, and then they see like, ooh, what's on the market? I want to see what's on the market, and then all of a sudden they click on that, or they see the pictures. So,
cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
You've got, I think, 3 to 4 steps that you should definitely employ, especially since the data will tell you like within a couple days. So it's not like you have to waste thousands of dollars. Just literally retarget the warm audience and then compare the 2 price points. And you're going to be like, okay, I see the difference. And then test out the difference on the landing page. And then maybe once you get those 2 things into place, test out a different lead magnet. Just test it, see how it works. 10 ways to improve the value of your home, just under $1,000 or under $100. 10 things under $100 that will increase the cost of the selling, I don't know the terminology, the selling price of your home. Yep. So I will type all this up, and if anyone is watching the replay of this, feel free to leave your thoughts below. So Joe, I'll get you my strategies, all of the strategies that everyone else has over the next couple of days. So what we'll do is we will go ahead and I'll put this replay in the group, and then what happens is people respond with their own thoughts on the strategy, and then we'll have an even more thorough set of ideas for you. So awesome. Thanks for joining today. Okay, bye everyone. I'll see you all inside of the group. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.